you guys to react, interact with the session, and what we're going to do as far as we'll take breaks in between. This is a lot of information. It's a lot of information. So we're going to take breaks in between. We're going to talk. We're going to work, that kind of thing. I want to make sure that our sessions, as I teach it, I get a chance to. This is probably my fourth, fifth. We don't get a chance to teach it all of the time, because it comes. Everything is duplicated, and so I learn more about how to interact and maybe how to make it simple. Because if y'all are with me, I'm assuming that y'all son was simple. Like me. If I attract to you, kind of, is that good? Yeah, I'm assuming that I love y'all because I found people like me. So I have to have things broken down, like elementary school. So I took this probably out of an expert level to hopefully to where we can learn and then teach. So I will expect you guys to teach this. Okay. All right. Let us start here. God, we thank you for today. Oh, it is a wonderful day. It is a blessed day, God, because you have made this day. You have created it, oh God, perfectly, and we thank you for it. God, we thank you for the members that are here on today, God. We thank you for the sacrifices that have been made. God, we even thank you for the members who are joining in, who are logging in, even with guests today. We thank you, God. We thank you for an opportunity to expand our minds, oh God, and therefore, God, we walk more into your kingdom, oh God, being blessed and being able to be a blessing. So, God, we pray that you would bless and bring forth your knowledge and your wisdom to each and every one of us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, y'all, I've been studying, so if I just tell you, study and pray, it's just it helps a little bit. But you guys, welcome to Invest Smart 101. I want to get some things. I want to get you guys participate early on, okay? Do this for me. I wanted to, instead of us scheduling a motivational speaker this morning, us to inspire and motivate one another, okay? So in order to do that, just think of something, a saying or a scripture or anything maybe this week that may have inspired you, and let's share it, introduce yourself, share anything that you have learned. This shouldn't take but 3 or 4 minutes, okay? And that you have learned, or my icon is down for you, and then share something that motivates you for your future and your present goals. So we can start anywhere we want to start. I'm gonna pick anybody to start us off.
Well, what comes to my mind is that all things work together for the good of God who are called according to His purpose. I worked in banking when I first graduated from college, and even though, like you said before, even though you've done things such as working and saving, it's not, you deal with other people's money, so you never think about your own money. So now that I've gotten older, I've started trying to think about what's good for me. And then along with that, working with my econ, I started thinking about things that I want to go further into later on, with not just working in my econ, but me myself. So that's what's been just kind of building up in me since I started with my econ.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. You got some financial testimony too, right? On the side of...
Yes, I did my W-4, and my check did increase by 100 and I think it's like $150, something like that. So yeah, but it really worked, and I'm just ready for my next W-4. So yeah, and I do have another person, my sister actually, she's kind of interested. I've been talking with her. I talked to her about maybe two and a half hours, because I know that. But she's very interested in it. But she actually had to have surgery and she's still in the hospital. But I'm hoping once everything gets worked out with her, she's going to be joining my
Oh, All right. Who's next? I guess Maria will be next.
I've joined my income to help improve my life, to improve my dad, to help improve me, to better improve what I can leave anybody. I don't have any kids, but I have my family to help to make things better for them. But right now I do need more assistance with learning more about my income. So that's why I'm here to better improve
Okay.
my life one day at a time.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. Any quote that motivates you or anything to in life? Or your own personal thought?
Well, I just love just being a blessing to others because that's what I feel I'm here for, to serve other people, to help them with their needs and their wants. So I am blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be in the city.
Okay. Well, that's good. I can think of a whole lot of things. Okay, Barbara.
I have been maybe over $50,000 in debt after going through the wars and everything, so all over again. And I think I've done pretty good about starting over, but I'm still working my way up. I'm ready to try because I'm thinking one. And I need to get my money in place to where I will be able to retire one day. And I'm just don't make much money I used to make, but I still work with what I got, put it in the right place and everything. So I'm just working on it right now.
Wonderful. And you create businesses called it, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, she's a little modest on that, but about she's got scholarship customers, constant customers on her residual income, so she's paying that upper income. All right, and Mary just walked in, so I guess we won't put her on the spot just yet, unless she don't mind real quickly. We're just taking a little testimonial update on you and MightyCon, and just a motivational quote or anything like that, 3 minutes or so. Let us know, what we can do, what inspires you the most to continue on in life.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I apologize for my tardiness.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be a part of my econ. I can actually say by making the necessary adjustments that I made, I was able to bring home almost $250 extra on my check. In addition to that, my husband and I got excited because we just got something in the mail. We paid off one bill. I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
So, my econ has changed our life a whole lot because it's teaching us things that we already knew, but it's reframing, if you will, what we needed to do in terms of our finances, being a good steward. And even though I'm exhausted, I was thinking when I was driving here, imagine that even though I have not seen the great payoff of what I mean by that, income, however, I'm gaining the knowledge to do what I need to do because the word of God tells us the faith that work is dead. I have to work it, and my faith and the work goes hand in hand. So as I was driving, I was saying, God, I know my labor is not in vain. We just have to keep pushing and do what we need to do because, you have to think about it. Rome was not built in a day. So it's going to take some work and some sacrificing on our part. So I'm excited about my econ and another thought that I had when I was driving, that this platform, my econ, is giving us the opportunity that we need to learn how to open our mouth. Because we can hide so much, and this is a thought I had this morning, we can hide so much behind our phones and our computers. But in order to grow your business the way that you need it and wanted it to be, you have to open up your mouth. So I was thinking that my econ is helping me on a personal note aside from my finances to get out of my comfort zone. And the more that I open up my mouth and meet people, then God will continue to open up doors for me. But it solely lies on me because I have to open up my mouth. So.
Okay, wonderful. Teary-eyed. That is so good. Y'all got all the stuff that I have in me. Like I'm serious. Like, that's all the stuff over the years that I have that has actually motivated me. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. When I thought about the bill collectors that used to, and and honestly, when I was going through my office at home, and I was finally getting rid of paperwork way back 1990s and stuff. And I go all the way back, and I found tax returns. I found letters from collection letters. I found suits, judgment suits. Baby, I'm excited. I found them because they're gone. Praise the Lord. They're gone. We're not in that. We're not mismanaging like we were. We were not afraid to talk. Like she was saying, I was thinking about all of that behind us, knowing how to do. I even found one of the judgments when I first started, when I first started learning this. Dismissal where I won the case just because of knowledge, isn't that something? And then when I go to my tax return and I look at the old tax return, and we're making $49,000 a year, like together. 7. And y'all talking about me shouting at the graduation? I'm like, I got a whole lot of stuff. I ain't just crying because they want to I'm like, when you get started, I said, Jerome, we are not even there anymore. God has blessed us. Our income has increased. Everybody's fat. So that means something. Nobody's missed a meal. We still got a home, and we're growing in grace, growing in income, and that excites me. And I've been praying, and I'll tell you guys, when I ask y'all to pray on the debt cancellation. When I went to school, we went to school. I guess I borrowed about $5,000. And in the 90s somewhere is when we filed bankruptcy. Okay, we filed Chapter 7. At this point, when you go to, back then when Salome had it, you could send in post-dated checks every 6 months and get a 1% discount. Okay, remember the post-dated kind of thingy. So every 6 months, I was sending in post-dated checks. We filed bankruptcy, in which at this point, I think I had become a part of Max's too. And but we filed bankruptcy, and we understood that you could not put student loans on bankruptcy. Okay, we knew that it was not on there. I got a letter in the mail from Salome, and I got all of my checks that I had sent to them, and they gave me a letter and said my debt was paid in full. Even on my credit report, it showed zero balance, paid in full. So I went to the attorney. Okay, listen, Julie, this is not supposed to happen. We need to do something. It's like I can't do anything with Salome. I can't make them give you that $5,000 debt back. So I'm like, well, I don't want you to, but I don't know what's going on. So I kept the information. I got 7 to 8 years. We've been out of bankruptcy several years, 16, 17 years or so. And so when I started back to school, when I got to my job, although they were paying for my degree, for me to finish my degree, they made me do financial aid. At that point, I did the financial aid and they got the default. So I'm going, I haven't defaulted on a loan. Well, the Department of Education had reached me and said, if you can find proof, the letter I told them the story, if you can find proof, well, we won't bother you. I couldn't find it. We had moved. And I could not find the paper anywhere. So I'm just praying right now I can get it coughed up somewhere, because I keep stuff so far back and I couldn't believe I could not find it there. Anyway, making a long story short, I had to do something. So before they would take my taxes, credit already shot, I'm trying to build it back from being bankrupt. And so I'm like, I don't want any of that on there. So we go into a new loan. $20,000 some dollars off of $5,000. And I have been learning. I've gone on the credit card. I've learned about debt, and I have been praying along with it. And the man that this debt be canceled in Jesus' name. So I finally found the way. You know, the company I recommended you guys to, because I'm with them and they have worked with me, and a lot of my clients, credit repair, had given me some information on where to go and what to do to dispute that debt, which is now over about $30,000. And the reason why is I keep putting it out, because I kept praying, God, you're going to help me find a way. It is not fair. But I got a call, and they found me being investigated. And I was just told it's a possibility that all of that $30,000 will be canceled. I already got one that last from a debt I had way back when on a vehicle, and they got a debt cancellation notice, and didn't know they were going to cancel that $4,188. And I didn't know anything about it. So I believe in God. But debt cancellation, I told y'all to pray. I ain't speaking and talking a whole lot, but I figured y'all will get the point, and that's what I needed. So it's just to continue to believe God to settle that case is zero. So I thank God for where we have come from. And I think financial education, as you said before, I would not have opened my mouth in another case. I remember being that Desperate House wife thing. I give that testimony because to say overchild, all this kind of stuff, didn't have a clue, and I just be scared. Just be scared. You just think everything that everybody does to you, you got to accept it. Why? Because they're the people that work behind the desk. So I've learned over years that's not true. And I hope this motivates you guys, all of us talking, all of you that are watching, to continue on, because what we do in my econ is far greater than you taking a look at our Sunday. It is much greater than the network company. I tell you guys, I told some people that came aboard with me, I had over 100 and some people, and I said, I know that the Lord told me, He spoke to me, and He said, anybody that was connected to you would. And I said, don't believe. It's not about me. It's actually about you and God. But He called me to be John the Baptist. And then I thought about John the Baptist. I did. Okay, Lord, are you sure you are okay? But I've been through some things enough to feel like I was beheaded, because I had to try it. Didn't John the Baptist, he was the forerunner, right? So he got the bulk of a whole lot of stuff before Jesus came along. So I know I've been through the scorn, the people, the skepticism. They talked about me, scandalized my name. I promise I ain't even lying. I am not telling the story, and I asked why, because all I try to do is take care of my family, and it hadn't even made nothing. Ain't that something? That I heard T.D. Jakes say one time that the enemy would know you before you know you, and so he would try to attack you. So I remember hearing him say that. I said, well, I'm gonna keep going, because they must be right. The enemy's right. I am gonna be wealthy. I am somebody. They keep saying this. So yeah, I'm getting there. Ain't got there yet, but I'm getting there. And all of that thing, even been to what we're gonna talk about today. The first time that I advertised, we were doing it in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And you know how I'm all over the place. And we got that call from Arkansas Securities. How about that? I had to go to Arkansas Securities. I had to sit in front of Sanhedrin and plead our case on investing. Because what we do is we educate. We do not have products and services. And that is what you can't do if you're not licensed. But how many know that's coming? Because I'm finishing up my program. You will be able to get products and services. I just can't do it now. Okay, but it's a part of the vision. And so they didn't know what they were doing by challenging me when I went in. So Series 663, it's coming along just fine. But we have gone through a whole lot of scrutiny. I'm telling you, that wasn't easy going up there. But by the time I got through, I had passed. The lady tried to be funny. I'll never forget. She says, well, if y'all can do all of that, I mean, I work up here. I can stay broke. I said, well, you know what? pulled out my brochure. I said, you really do need to give me a call because it's my yeah. I didn't try to be funny. But anyway, I was being for real. And she looked, she said, oh, you want me to call you? I said, I definitely do. You the woman. So with that being said, sometimes you do have to get bold. It'll make you bold when you're educated. I'm like, you know what you know. But I'm excited to be able to share of investments today. As you know, this actually is probably about a 3-day class if you want to do it. So what we're going to do today is going to lay the foundation, but we're going to have to come back because the actual meat of getting on the internet and looking up your investment options, I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that. If we do, we're going to rush through it anyway, and we don't have that kind of time. But y'all stick with me because I figured after we lay the foundation, we can come back in. You were telling me that on Tuesdays you were more available on Tuesdays, so I'm going to move that ambitious training from Thursday nights to Tuesday nights, okay, to accommodate. I think I heard someone that said Tuesday would be better, and see that's because I'm familiar from basketball and football and go on McGee. So you know, I can come in and do what I love. So let's get started. Invest Smart 101. This in today's Invest Smart 101 module is to help you as a money kind of understand how to turn cash flow into income producing assets. You mentioned even not making any money off of the system. And we don't get to where your business is an asset and talk about that. But what you need to understand is this is who we are. With working people. When Ivy created a company, he didn't create a company that had just products and services for this reason. Everybody has products and services, but everybody still be broke after that. If you know, you sold Mary Kay, I sold Avon. I didn't do Mary Kay, but my friend Ann did Alloy, and we talked about this, how much money we had made actually, and we still wasn't doing anything with it. We didn't know. We just knew we needed more money. But how to really make it grow, that's if the more you hang with us, the more you'll understand that's the value of who we are as a company, because you have a career. Some people don't want to change their career. I've gone into this because God told me to go ahead and go into this full time, and my bank didn't look like my God didn't look like it when he called me, and my mental didn't either. But I obeyed him and did that. That's not you. That doesn't have to be you. Also, it awakened dreams. And it gave me new dreams, new visions. Who would think I'd be a lifetime author, that kind of stuff? I've never had faith in my writing, although I was in drama and TV and radio, and I had to write and produce. I was a newspaper editor to write a book. I mean, that's just really, and I was an A student in English I loved. But to write a book, I never had any confidence in that. So just being empowered, you would think, going into this financial world, it doesn't, but my econ is doing for everybody what it's supposed to do. I encourage you not to defect though. I got people who are awakened, so they decided to pull away. They haven't finished the journey. No matter what I do, I will be a mighty gun girl. Here's the principle, lies a principle that we can pass on generation to generation. You can't generally just talk to a person and wake them up. Okay, how much I talk to my kids, I would love for them to have the desire to come to me today. Living room, but I'm gonna make them sit in the living room, and I'm gonna go because they should get up. But you know, you can't just tell them. They have to be a part of ongoing processes that begin to awaken things and shake you and loosen you up and that kind of thing. And that's how you grow. And that's why tip sessions don't work. Tip sessions don't work. A lot of people, when it comes to investing, they want to do tip sessions. They want to read the internet and get it done. They want, okay, even credit and everything else. But I think that ongoing grows you. It grows you. You can't do a thing and stop. So our job is every strategy that's put in place, you ladies have changed your W-4. You've got money back. That $150 has to be directed towards somewhere, okay? Eventually, it's directed out to income-producing assets. You know, if you got debt in front of it, we want to pay debt out, right? Then we might split some of it up and actually invest it. You might be there. That's why we go ahead now and teach this instead of waiting through the entire process because we want you to go ahead and get started. So this is the process. Y'all are on track. If you changed it up before, you got money back, you are on track. Repositioning current cash flow is what we're trying to do. That's what I'm saying here. Your current cash flow, right? Secondly, that once that cash flow is repositioned, it generates additional cash flow. Okay, so we got salaries that we have set up, we got hourly pay. Some of us may even have self-employment, but and which is a breakdown because in people's mentality, if they're self-employed, they think they got it going on. Some of us understand that, right? Musicians, t-shirt, carpenters, plumbers, that kind of thing. Hey, I own a business. But I've heard more testimonies from people who own businesses who have made the money and have not grown any money, don't have any direction. Good idea, but no direction. I mean, me, I've come from, I can say that confidently because my dad was a carpenter, my mom was a beautician. Okay, and she later became an instructor. Guess who paid for them? When they both died, guess who paid for them to be buried? Yeah, and grandmama too. So that means that I'm not talking anything that I don't know. I'm talking about nobody else. That's what I want to do. It's not go the same way. Mentally, where are we coming from when, as far as our mindset is concerned? When you're caught up in wages, you can't have wealth. Bottom line, there are people who believe that the more degrees, the more money they make, more they punch the clock, they're building wealth. Tax side, you know that the more money you make, the more what? The more taxes you pay on a job. They're going to be taking that out of your income. So you can increase to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, but now you're all in a whole other tax bracket. It can go up to 45%. Okay, so you're not making that, you're making the money, but you're never bringing the money home. That's not creating wealth. That's going to create debt if you don't manage it right. Now, can it be done both ways? Yes, if you're educated and have strategy, make your money on the job. Okay, but then again, as we teach our strategy, release yourself from the taxes, take that money, and then pour it into streams of income, other streams of money making income, asset producing, events and so forth, then you get that. Okay, but how many people they really know about that principle? If they're working, right? Okay, that's it. Money doesn't reproduce, but capital does. One of the things that I teach my children when I do our session, I teach them about fiat, the term fiat. They need to understand that America is created on a fiat system. Fiat means the money has no value. It's for one, if I give you a dollar bill, what is it when it goes in your hand? How much is it? It's still a dollar. If you pass a dollar behind you, what is it? It's still a dollar. Okay? So we're not on the system that we used to be due to Roosevelt and all those terms. Well, it was actually Richard Nixon, according to financial history. Richard Nixon is the one that took America out of having commodities as cattle and gold and silver that would produce to America, and he decided to go to an economy that's a fiat economy. So our money does not produce. Produce is that we do find stocks and bonds to put it in, and those stocks and bonds are still going to be things that are backed by cattle and farming. You know what I'm saying? Synthetics and technology and so forth. So it's still not money reproducing. Okay, when we take money, we purchase things that are consumable, not reproducible. How about that? That's how we get in debt. That's how we waste. Man, it's hard to break my children right now. They got the money, they came in for graduation, and I'm on them like a hawk. Like, hey, get your still. Gabe was pleading his case. Mom, but I need shoes. What would you need? You out for something, you break it. Hold it. We need room stuff. Or I want to get them to that point where they're thinking investments. Okay, so my statement to him is, baby, you're poor now. You graduated and you're broke. We need to get that in your head. And Papa son will have no wine for his time. So don't be trying to produce it now, just start selling drugs. Okay, it's gonna come slowly. But by the grace of God, you'll make it. So we don't put our money in reproducible things. When money is making you money, it's wealth. If it's not, it's just money. Ain't that something? So how many of us are living off of just money? We live in say, y'all watching, you can say me. Okay. There's a process for building, buying, and creating an asset. And that's the value of what we're going to share. There's a process. And you can only be as smart or as intelligent as your exposure. Oh, man. So if we can agree that if we were not exposed to this type of knowledge or practice financially, then we don't know anything about it. That's why I don't understand people who try to May-like. What we say back in the day. Well, some country people say May-like, yeah, ain't that something? You try to May-like you somebody because you make 50,000 a year, 60,000, 100,000. You drive a car, you got a house. I was awakened to the fact that you got a lot of debt and you ain't nothing. As we say in church, you just dust. Your money ain't growing or anything, okay? Because why? We didn't have the type of lineage or the type of family that has, and we don't talk about that in a different language, but that have actually taught us. My mom and them, I can talk about them, okay? My mom and them taught me hard times. And I know that family don't like to see it or like me to say this, but we wouldn't be trying to break curses if they had. And I don't care, it's the truth all day, every day. Be mad. But I'm willing to tell the truth so I can be better. Okay? I came up with repossessed cars. All right? Never forget seeing the yellow, I think it was yellow and black, four-door Ford being pulled out from under the carport. Okay? And all kind of hell broke loose. That's what I saw. I saw that. That wasn't good. I never forget being put out of a house that my daddy had built. Okay? He built the house, did not have the receipt available for mama to know anything about, is it paid for? He was working for a man. And he actually built our house, and I guess whatever he did to pay it out, the story now, my sisters probably tell me I was wrong about it, but I remember a lot of stuff when I was a kid. Okay, I think God intended for it that way. But some things were like, I remember her finding a receipt once we got ready to leave that said it was paid in full, whatever he owed the man for doing the work and the lumber and so forth. But the bottom line is, we were on the streets. That's the money practice I had. We were on the streets. We were at grandmother's house. Okay, trying to figure out then how we were gonna live afterwards. Cheese McKim people down all that land that's out there when you come in. Relatives who actually sold property out from under my grandmother for $1. I had cousins who were schemers that took our land, Prescolite, all that land over. Did you know that Popeye's stuff? Yeah, the South stuff. Well, my great grandfather and them had plantation back there. That was my land. So we grew up with financial ignorance, but yet they were wealthy, but did not know what to do. What natural resources mean to me. Nobody in Southeast Arkansas should be broke. Nobody. Somebody was having a conversation before I wanted to chime in. They were talking about the area and what was here and why people, they were asking the question, well, why do people, if you got 100 businesses, and that we were talking about McGee, and how many businesses are actually located in McGee. So the question is, how many people come here? Okay, look, natural resources. They got an understanding, but you gotta do something with it. So I ain't trying, I got timber, I'm gonna turn it into money. Don't play. Don't give me no less. I know better. So the concept of personal financial success is this, you guys. Desired income level for lifestyle. This is here. Okay, whatever you desire, you've got two areas. Hopefully, well, you probably got one right now, but new money from labor. Okay, that's going towards your desired lifestyle. Then, in order to create financial success, this is what other people living off of: old money. That's income producing assets. We've got those people in town like the Dearmans, the Rybers, I don't know the ones in McGee and so forth. But this is the concept that we want to. We want to leave old money. That's money that's making money. The money that's been made. Somebody's granddaddy, somebody's great-great-granddaddy is gone. Some of these kids don't even know what labor is because they got money when they're born. That's old money. I want my great-great-grandchildren to have money when I'm gone, because I started this, because I started to make old money. I realized that I will leave this world and not be able to see some of these assets because I started later, but I'm not selfish. I'm thinking about my great-great-great-great-grandchildren, okay? There's a process to building and buying and creating assets, and that's what we want to take a look at, okay? All right. Y'all okay? So y'all my exciting about one. I've got so much better. But let's talk about savings and investments, okay? When we make money, guys, you know, when I teach the children, I use some of this when I'm teaching the children, okay, so they can understand it. But the process of saving is actually, if we're going to work, we need to get to the point to where we are saving. No matter what it feels like or look like, we've got to learn to save, right? It's a short term. It's for short-term purposes. It's for emergency purposes, okay? It's not set up for your future. But investments are unique because they're for your long-term goals. So we got to get to the point to where we're investing for 20 years later, 50 years later, or a life expectancy. Somewhere in there, you know, I see people, I didn't really look it up to see what the life expectancy is, but I remember Miss Levis, and she's here, so if she remembered, she talked about on one of the calls where she talked about retirement, how long women, I said,
you live at least 5 years, or the male, at least.
wow. So check this out. We got room for the women. I ain't trying to be mean, but we might have to live past our husbands passing on. Yeah, this
So you just have to be prepared, you know,
I'm still because I didn't really know this would come out, but I was thinking last night, what would I do if Jerome passed on? And you know how people say, I got to the myself, it was all by myself. I'm just putting it a little funny, I don't know how it goes. And you know, when you tell me, oh, I don't want to go, if we go, I want to go together. I was just laying there thinking, well, Lord, I don't think I'm thinking like that. I don't know why I ain't thinking like we want to go together. I don't want to go at all. I want him to go, I don't want me to go. That's the honest thing. But I ain't sure we want to go together. I ain't really got that one yet. I'm not sure. So in case we look, that's a word to the wise. You know, as a woman, we might live a little longer. So we've got to put in some long term, and they do have some common features that we're going to talk about. Or I got this question here: what do you think are some common features to investments and savings? What would you say they are? Go ahead. Go ahead.
It gonna take money.
Yeah, I was like, that's real common. Yeah.
And the money put aside in some vehicle, some type of vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? That's pretty much it, ain't it? That's
Growth, but most investments is more growth than
get a high rate of return. That's good. And so in the savings, there are possibilities that depending on where we save, you know, if we save at credit unions, they may give us 3% on the savings account. Okay, if we save at a regular family-owned bank, they may give us 2 or 1%. But the difference comes out in the end when the rate of return is higher, saving in different ways. Okay, so we understand that. Okay, now let's take a look at this. I want to look at this video. This is going to take us a minute. I think it's about 14 minutes long. This is going to be about 14 minutes long. So let's take a look at this. I don't know how many of you all looked at it already. Okay, and I want to get your thoughts about it once we take it. Actually, okay. Nope, I didn't do that right. Excuse me. We are going to listen to this. I practiced turning it on, and now it's not coming up on. Tell you what, just hold on a minute. I'm going to actually go to the internet and pull it up. How about that? Please feel. Oh, I know what's going on. My ears. Anybody see my earplugs? Yes. Yes. Sorry, y'all. Bluetooth. So I and it goes straight to. I'm so sorry. Let me turn these on. Anybody else have Bluetooth? Y'all forgive me. We're gonna make this work. I don't know why my computer is not. Here's it. I've never experienced my computer not talking. Bluetooth. Okay. Okay, that's okay. Never. I'll, yeah, yeah, we practice it, making sure. I don't understand.
Why don't we play it on there and get the voice from a different?
Okay. I do apologize, you guys. To actually see what is, if you haven't seen this, I want to watch this together because this talks about the future of our 401k. And we're going to talk about the diversified portfolio, but this is real and this is now.
everyone. Even if you still have a good job and a paid up mortgage, chances are your monthly 401k statement will remind you that you lost a good chunk of your savings. Trillions of dollars have evaporated from those accounts that have become the prime source of retirement funds for a majority of American workers, affecting their psyche and their future. Time to rebuild and recover. But if you're in your 50s or 60s or beyond, the consequences can be dire. And it's drawing attention to the shortcomings of a retirement system that's jeopardized the financial security of tens of millions of people. It was a great chilly morning in Midtown Manhattan, and a line of unemployed, mostly white-collar workers stretched for blocks around the Radisson Hotel. More than 1,000 middle managers, stockbrokers, consultants, secretaries, and receptionists had come here hoping to find a job. If you're just right, you step this way. It was called a career fair, but there was no merriment here. Only a wit of desperation. Many of these people had been out of work for months and burned through their liquid assets. Their future even bleaker than the present. Alan Weir, who turned 60 this month, showed us his latest 401k statement, which he hadn't had the courage to open up.
I'm afraid. I'm going to open it now. You want me to? Let's do it.
There's good reason for his trepidation. Nearly half of his life savings have vanished in a matter of months.
What's out again? How much you net overall? Oh, about $140,000. Do you think you'll ever get it back? I would probably never take it back. I was looking to retire probably when I hit 62. Can't do it now. I'll probably be working until I'm at least 70.
Until she lost her job, Kathleen Coleman had spent nearly 30 years working as an executive assistant on Wall Street. She doesn't have much to show for it.
Tell me about your 401k. Does this answer the question? This is what it was in 2005, 2007. You're down below 2005. And another one went down to almost $40,000. One was 88,000, and then it went down to like 50. How old are you? 54, and I live alone. I don't have any children. I've been a career goal of my life, and it's been a great career, and I don't deserve this. I'm sorry. Sorry. You got any nibbles? All the nibbles I've had, I get beat out by top models who can type. And I have experience and dedication and loyalty, and I can make any voice shine. I can't, if you're out there, I'll relocate anywhere for you. What, psychologically, what does this piece of paper do to you? Oh, it crushes any rest I may get when I'm 65. I'll have to work for the rest of my life.
The saddest part of this story is that it's being repeated all over the country. In eastern Pennsylvania, 59-year-old Iris Hans lost her accounting job and half of her 401k investments. She's now back in the workforce as a part-time cashier in a grocery store.
Here's Debbie Hart. Have a great day.
Gary and Donna McNally are barely holding on. He lost his sales job in August. The condo they bought 15 years ago is worth less than their mortgage, and 40% of his 401k retirement savings is gone. Dunnick is the main provider now.
Let me hear you count to 10. Can you count to 10?
Running a daycare center out of their home.
7, 8, 9, 10.
If you're done. Terry considers himself fortunate to have found part-time work greeting the bereaved at a funeral home and making lattes at Starbucks.
There you go.
Where colleagues young enough to be his grandchildren have taken him under their wing.
What's the hardest part? I know I'm sitting in a computer driving a car to a call. I'm standing for 4 to 6 hours and reading people who are making drinks, trying to learn the process and the food business thing, which is very difficult.
It's tough, but I'm proud of him. At his age to be doing what he's doing.
The 401k drop was tremendous. It is tremendous at this point in time, and that's where the savings goes. That's our hurt right now.
We can't live our vision of our dream of retirement. That's the worst part. Many people can't.
And what was your dream?
My dream was to have a log cabin up north Leland area and just live a nice, quiet life.
You think you'll ever be able to retire?
I don't see that day. I don't ever see that day.
What kind of retirement plan allows millions of people to lose 30 to 50% of their life savings just as they near retirement? David Ray, president of the profit-sharing 401k Council of America and a lobbyist for the 401k industry, says it's one that empowers people to make their own investment decisions.
401k is the absolute best way people can save for retirement. They absolutely are the best retirement vehicle we have.
How can you say it's the best available if it has let down tens of millions of people at the time they need the money the most?
That's not a 401k problem. That is our entire investment system. This is about the market that's went down for everybody. Nobody was saved in the current thunderstorm.
Ray says that many people still have more money in their 401ks than they've actually contributed. He says everyone had multiple investment options, including low-yield guaranteed returns. And he believes people who lost money have no one to blame but themselves.
In America, it's a society based on freedom and choice and personal responsibility. We need to help them understand these responsibilities and execute them to the best they can. 401k is part of that. There are no guarantees.
About the people who are 63 or 64, a lot of those people are thinking about retirement.
Well,
and now they aren't.
Well, I mean,
a lot of them were retired and have to go back into the workforce.
Well, but that was not a 401k problem. That's an investment system problem. The markets go up and down, and if those people chose to take equity risk, there was a logical outcome.
But in fact, the 401k plans that have become the primary source of retirement income for 60 million Americans were never designed to be retirement plans in the first place. They were created in the late 1970s as a savings plan and tax shelter for ordinary Americans. The idea was that workers would make voluntary contributions and employers would match a portion of it. The taxes would be deferred until the employee reached the age of 59 and a half. It was supposed to supplement the two traditional income streams for retirees, Social Security and pensions, one leg of a three-legged stool that would support American workers into their golden years. But it didn't turn out that way.
The three-legged stool, if you will, has gone to two legs and it's wobbly. And I'm not sure that it's going to support anything. And that's the scary part, and people are afraid.
Brooks Hamilton has helped design retirement plans for some of the country's largest corporations. He says 401ks turned out to be so much cheaper than funding pensions. Many companies decided to freeze their pension plans and replace them with 401ks. The decision created millions of new employee investors for Wall Street and the financial community, and they pounced on the opportunity.
If you go back and track the mutual fund growth in assets, and you track the growth in 401k plans, it looks like a railroad track leading to the sky. They are parallel tracks.
So the big beneficiaries were the mutual fund.
That's right.
Employers began turning 401ks into retirement community was not shy about promoting them as such. The prospect of trillions of dollars in the hands of unsophisticated investors opened the door for all sorts of potential abuses.
The fact is that the typical 401k investor is a financial novice. They don't know a stock market a lot. 20 or 30 mutual funds with really, really powerful names. They found, gee, that's where I want to have my money.
What are generally the quality of the mutual funds and 401k plans?
I'll be real honest with you. With half the funds on the list, really dogs, what people would characterize as dogs, shouldn't be on the list to start with. There clearly has been a raid on these funds by the people of Wall Street, and it's cost the savers and the future retirees a lot of money that would otherwise be in their account, independent of the financial collapse.
Representative George Miller of California is chairman of the House Committee on Education and Labor and a staunch critic of the 401k industry, especially its practice of deducting more than a dozen undisclosed fees from its clients' 401k accounts.
Now you've got a bunch of economic wizards jumping in and taking money out of your retirement plan, and they don't want to tell you how much. You can't decipher it in simple English, and they're not interested in disclosing it or having any transparency about it. Most of the people that look at their 401ks have no idea that these fees are being taken out. No. Where would you find it? Where would you find these fees in this prospectus? You can look on any page you want, and when you're all done reading, and you will find some of the fees and the commissions here, but you won't find them all. I bet you won't find half of them.
There are legal fees, trustee fees, transactional fees, stewardship fees, bookkeeping fees, finder's fees, and the list goes on and on. Miller's committee has heard testimony that they can eat up half the income in some 401k plans over a 30-year span, but he has not been able to stop it.
We tried to just put in some disclosure and transparency to these fees, and we felt the full fury of that financial lobbying.
David Gregg, a lobbyist for the 401k industry, says he favors disclosing the fees, but his partners in the financial industry don't.
You think most people know these fees exist?
I think they know that there are fees. They don't know exactly how large they are.
Why do you think the financial services industry is opposed to fee transparency?
I think the issue is...
You don't think they're opposed to it?
Well, they want to keep...
You're a lobbyist in Washington, right? You know they're opposed to it. George Miller hasn't been able to get a bill to the floor.
I think they want to keep the systems as simple and not make changes. They like the way things are, and whenever you push people out of their comfort zones, it's an issue.
I mean, they're comfortable with the situation because they're making a ton of money, or they have made a ton of money.
Well, their systems are set up in certain ways. This is going to be a big change.
We wanted to ask David Ray, who's been so bullish on 401k plans, one last question about what the future holds for people like Terry and Donna McNally and Kathleen Coleman, who you met in the beginning of the story.
Dedicated, loyal, I can be there, nothing's getting in my way. Thank you. Need a babysitter?
Most of the people that we talked to are 50 and 60 years old, right? And have sustained these losses, say there is no way they're ever going to make them back. Right? Do you agree with that?
I think we have to be truth tellers. That when a person is hit this point, and we have this unfortunate situation, I don't think we can misrepresent what the possibilities are.
And the reality is that money's not coming back that they've lost.
They can't count on it. Maybe they have long, maybe if they work 10 more years, they will come back, but it's important that they not have unrealistic expectations.
For more information on your 401k, go to 60minutes.com.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good timing on many of us. So, tell me what y'all think about, what did you learn from that video? What did we learn from that video?
Is this ever screwed?
Check out food, check out going, you want my going and check out what it's going to
Because then you have to have,
Your own mutual funds and everything.
diversity of everything in one pot. You just cannot count. And then a system that control about other rules and regulations that you have no control over. You got to anticipate some things.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, you have to be knowledgeable. Going into that, but individuals are basically their money in those 401k plans, they really have the knowledge about it. I can't speak for anybody else, but I know on all the jobs that I've had, people that they have over those things, they don't know anything. So our response is always been them. So you're wanting me to invest in something that you don't fully understand. If you don't fully understand it, that means you can't convey it to me. So therefore, and I know it's probably ill thinking, but you just can't trust your money with everybody. So even with me being with the federal government and they have TSP plans, you just say match you. But I need to know which is the right fund for me. Because I don't want to take that risk and losing everything, then what? They can't get it back. And the people they have overseen them, I don't know, just do something. No, just doing something that's not going to help them. So we have to be knowledgeable about that. If this individual doesn't know,
and you owe it to yourself to go out there and keep researching to get it, so that you'll feel comfortable about what you're doing. So looking at that, they just did it because that's what someone said they had to do.
The representative that comes to your job, they will tell you that they are not even equipped to try to tell you they are not brokers. So yes, you do need to be knowledgeable because you have to choose your own plan. Yeah, and you're guessing because they're not, because of the very thing. If you invest mutual fund, whatever, and lose your money, and you blaming the agency, they're gonna sign you up according to what you check. And then the next thing is that things have changed. 401k has been fine in the past. With the economy taking a turn, different things going on, things change. So that go back kind of like the W-4 form. You're gonna have to revisit your portfolio on a regular basis, and you are allowed to make changes. That's the reason, you say when you look at Spotlight, they would come in and tell you switch this and do this because they're watching. They know things are changing now. Where pension and all this stuff used to be bang in place, good things. Now you cannot depend on that.
Now it's a lot worse than what it used to be. Now I know, because even with where I work for federal government, and people used to be like, "Oh, that's such a great job." Well, guess what? A lot of people in our workforce, I work for the Social Security Administration. It's because they changed them from civil service to FERS, and civil service was twice more than FERS now. I mean, they pay 1% a month of what you did. I mean, it's ridiculous. Once they get through, and they don't tell you that up front. They don't. And with your TSP plan that you contribute to, like you lose a lot of money there. I mean, we have people that can retire because after 08, their TSP went.
And my husband was one of the lucky ones, and he was at the age now where he could really get out. But then again, some in the federal government did not even invest in the TSP. Yeah, at all. They did not understand the effect it would have. If they would have, they would be in better shape than the ones who did not.
That's right.
And let me tell you something else. The federal government, if you all still working and have the life insurance, it decreases.
Yes.
I mean, it really decreases drastically.
Yeah, you better all go.
Yeah, you don't have to have something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, with age, it chops down to a minimum.
Yes.
I think it over a period of time to just 10,000.
Yeah, it does.
Just enough to bury.
That's right.
I didn't want you all to think I'm unintelligent. I understand the fact that they don't tell you what to invest in, but my art is they have all these funds, but they don't provide you with information. Because I understand it's solely up to you to pick your own fund. But in picking your fund, you need someone to provide you with all of the information so that you can make an intelligent decision. So I don't want to.
Right. I understand that. Yeah, I want to make it clear. No, we understand that, but what I'm saying is because they come into the agency that comes in, just kind of like we may do some training here, but we can't tell you to go to T. Rowe Price or Vanguard. It's up to us to kind of learn. So that's what they do. They're not going to tell you. They said no, we're not allowed. We can't.
That's
so
right.
Yeah.
And see, and what I got from this, and everybody's true, everybody what they got, because what I looked at is, I said, go back to our statement about just our name, my economy.
That's right.
People, only somebody that can take care of your issues.
That's right.
And it will behoove behoove us. I hear that at church. Is that a real word? It would behoove us. Y'all hear it at the Baptist church a lot. It would behoove you to do something, to get some type of education, to know what direction you're going to go in, because as much as we want to, these people are pitiful. They're pitiful. And the gentleman made the statement that, you know, this is a society basically where you take care of yourself. It's not us. It's not us that did it. You know, he's kind of right. He's ugly in the way he said it, but, you know, he's kind of right. You know, except for some of them are doing it and they know what they're doing. That's why I got a lot of mortgages in, because I know what some of these people are doing on purpose. So you got 2 and 2. Our financial education. 2 is you got to know that people are selling. This is one of the things that I love when I first taught this, is that realizing, believe it or not, through marketing, investments, agencies, brokers, so forth, they are selling. They are making money. And that's what you as an individual have to keep in mind, even when it comes to good investments. Everything we do, they selling. Yes. Yeah.
What I did catch on the video was that they were saying you have to choose your own investment, but the key thing that he said was majority of the investments that were on the list shouldn't even been on the list. So you still are, you know, it's kind of like a too. Yeah. Okay, I don't know what to invest in, but then you put a list out and they're not even worth investing in. I mean, he said over half of them shouldn't even be on the list.
When we set up, I was administrating at Potlatch, and it depends on the salesperson too. When we set up for the employees to come and talk to the representatives and so forth, there are some reps that come in and they would be honest, and they would say, you know, we got to lay it out to you this way. And then there are some, they're just making their money. So it's still gonna come back to us, because we have a tendency to trust. We trust people that look good. I'm coming from another perspective to get us to the mentality that we trust people that look good. There are people that won't even enroll for my God because y'all don't look good enough. You don't have a house good enough. You don't have a car fancy enough. So people's appeal. If I'm sitting in a big office, you know, you see people who are sitting in high towers and so forth, and when the market crash came, they jumped out the window. You be like, well, you jumped out the window. I thought you was at the top of the tower, which you're not at the top of the tower, I mean, top of the finance. Personally, when they're doing a job, they're doing a job. So that's the bottom line. And we're going to talk about 401k in a minute and where it is. Let me tell you what's going on there. That is, she's a massager person, so we're going to have so anyway, so that I just think this was still an eye opener as far as the urgency in taking care of ourselves with diversified portfolios. And that's what we're here to do. Let's take a look at this. We got a couple more slides on look at, and then we're going to take a break. So let's look at our support tools. Number one, become better investors and asset builders. But before I do that, I want to let you know that this is what MyEcon has put in place. Because we got to bring it back to this is us. This is where are we? We give you a personal cash flow plan. Okay? The purpose of that personal cash flow plan, everything we have in place, is for you to organize yourself so that possibly you're not one of those persons. If you lose $1, you got another dollar over here. So that's why the business is more effective for you when you work the plan. It's hard for people to understand that these sheets of paper, those videos, this software is going to lead you to where you need to go, but it will. It really, really will. That's what our PCP plan is about. So we want to encourage you in the first step of that personal cash flow plan, acquire more cash flow. Okay? We talked about the W4 adjustments. We talk about minimizing your expenses. Seriously taking a look at everything that you're spending your money on and seeing where you can save. And most of all, you are teaching all of us to practice eliminating debt. Because see, when that debt that she was eliminated, she increased her cash flow. That's our language. We're increase cash flow. Remember. So you are profiting. Okay? You are profiting. You increase your cash flow. If you're not paying, say the bills, I don't know how much was you have to tell us. Let's say that's $450 a month. That's $450 to your good. Plus you added $500 a month from your W-4. You got $950. Now you got $950 to sink into another debt and pay it off. Or if that was just 1 or 2 debts, you can now sink that into an investment option. Okay? You can increase somewhere. I'm sorry. Okay? You can increase somewhere and help increase your financial future for your long-term goals. So as tools in MyEcon, we're talking about become a better builder and acquire a vision for a successful plan. That is your plan. Okay, acquiring a vision. I think I don't know if it was MyEcon I was teaching. It might have been when I was in Conway. I was saying, as I taught the cash flow strategist, the first part is about vision. Okay, you got to see your money. You got to get a vision for your money. We got a vision for daycare centers and life centers at the church. Church got a whole vision. That's all the time I hear people really talking about vision. Okay, us, particularly African Americans, we don't sit around and talk about where we, I'll take that lie back. There's some, now they don't know what they're doing. You know, like I see these country people, all men sitting around the tree. I'm sorry, I know y'all thought I was gonna just keep going. Y'all know I'm gonna have to break up. So all I can envision is being in the country with a whole bunch of men or out in somebody's field where they all popping a brew or whatever, ale or whatever you want to call it, and they all talking noise about their money and yeah, when I retire and I worked at this place and yeah, you ain't seen nobody pocket. They just telling fibs. I ain't gonna say lie because we're videoing. So they just tell a bunch of fibs, you know, and a bunch of stories. We got to get past the story and get a true vision because although it may tarry, it will come to pass. But the first instruction on our vision is to do what? What we do, what the Bible said.
Right.
You got to write it. Not talking it around the tree and talking to your buddies. You got to write the vision. So in order for you to your support tools to really work for you, you got to work. So if you have never written a vision for your money, we got the tools to help you write the vision. Okay? And make them what? Say it again.
Plain.
You got to make them plain. So you got to be specific. There are things, I mean, I can't just say, I want to buy a car. What kind of car you want to buy? No, before that, what's your credit look like? Do you have down payment? What is your interest desire? Would I desire to have 0 interest? You know, do I understand that 0 interest might require a down payment? So, you know, right, because sometimes you might want to do the 3% instead of 0, depending on the terms of the loan. Those things you got to search out specifically. Even when it comes to money, and it comes to investing, we can search it out. Let me add this. You do not have to be an expert. I never teach this material as if I'm an expert. I don't want you to call me an expert because I want you to be empowered. That's what this is about. Too many experts, too many ideas about what we do in life is on the expert level. That don't mean nothing to me. I've met a lot of broke experts, a lot of fancy people. We just learned in our church, a lady did and she would be laughing if she knew I was telling this in a business meeting. But she taught us discipline. She was teaching discipline. But in that part of discipline, she was teaching front stage, backstage. Everybody got front stage, everybody got backstage. You should find one stage. In other words, somebody lying about who they are. They perform. Good driving down the streets. They see the party, we don't know that they spent their last dollar to have that Economic Independence Party. Okay, my last $2. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, that's so they spent their last $2. We got to put a vision. Y'all got the point. Customize your plan. That's part of the vision. That's making it plain. Customize it for you. In investing, we talked about manipulation. Yes, there are people who will talk to the point that manipulate us to go a particular way because they're listen to the sentence. So you agree with me that da 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 da? Yeah. Do you agree with me that? Yeah. So I'm right in saying that so and so and so. Yeah. I mean, you don't know that, so you think that's right. And that's embedded into, this is how sales pitches. This is called sales pitch. This is how people talk us into things. They manipulate us. They direct us. And that's why I cried the first time I was in here, because I got delivered. A lot of witchcraft. That's what it's called in church. It's spirit witchcraft. Manipulation. I'm sorry, that's what it's called. And we ain't talking about witch on the broom, but witchcraft is manipulation. Okay, so stay focused. Get rid of despair with hope and faith. Believe it or not, this I wrote on this. Get rid of despair. Like you in my econ now. Stop crying. Answer. It's an answer. Ask me, I know. I just told y'all I cried. Till I got my answer and did not realize I got the answer. I got the answer to a better future. You know, I spent the crying days. I spent the days in the office covered up. I've gone the days where, and I'm not ashamed to tell anything that happened, where I'm in that 2-story house and my gas is off. In the cold. It wasn't the summer. But guess what I had? I had a vision. So I'm sitting, none of the associates know that I'm online, I'm on the phone, I'm sitting with a blanket in that cold house with a vision, still training, still teaching, still believing. I had a written vision. So it didn't bother me when I let the gas get cut off. I think it bothered Drum a little bit, but I ain't giving. Somebody didn't tell us the truth about the utilities, but I had written my vision by then. I said, now, if this $100 I got is $1,400, I ain't going. I ain't giving my $1,400. I got a vision. And I was working with MyEcon. I was a mortgage loan officer, MyEcon, with Bay Capital. I'm going to close a house, and later I'll pay for the gas. I got about 3 months to go get me some. I got a vision. I want y'all to know before it got freezing cold, I had made that money. It was 14. Now, this is how God is all in what we do too. I'm sorry. I got to promote God. Listen, when we, that third month came along, I made $1,400. I called the gas company and I said, I'm ready to pay, get the gas back on, because I'm thinking all this is going to the gas. Guess what? He wasn't even $1,400. It was like something like $300-$400. I'm like, how that happened? How old y'all? You remember? How old y'all? $1,400. I shoot. I'm glad I was in college. I said, so some of the stuff getting cut off ain't a bad thing. I saved some money. You know, save some money if I have a vision. So lose your despair. Get some hope. Get some hope.
That's right.
Hope is expectation. Yeah. You know, a lot of people that defect, you know, I wish I could tell them. I'm honestly say it makes me mad, because I can see that they're not even anywhere where they need to be. And I can see that they haven't caught the vision. Have not joined the real vision. You have not caught this thing about your future. When you defect, because you're still talking the wrong talk, you still cancel, you know, you got no hope. You still hear people who we giving them a plan, but the only thing they ain't picked up no hope, they ain't worth nothing. Some of them ain't changed it up before they stopped. And then we have to continue to believe. Believe for yourself. Don't believe for me. Believe for yourself. You know where you want to go. Don't let my faith try to drive you. I can't do it anyway. I got a whole bunch of stuff God keep giving me. I need a whole bunch of faith. I need to get past the mustard seed. I got to move mountains. So I got to start speaking. I'm sorry. I just have to preach in there. So why investments exist? Why do they exist? Capitalization and fees. We are in a great big world. And the way I would put it in simple terms, that capitalize off of our ignorance. That's what I think capitalism is. understood. You know what? The craziest thing to me is this banking system. All these terms and contracts. The craziest thing in mortgaging is 101 types for mortgaging something. Are you serious? Just to make up a way to let me have a house. There's a particular type of mortgaging that you can do where you don't pay nothing down and where you can wait. If somebody trusts you, they'll draw up a paper and say, I'll give you 6 months to go get your money and you create a place going in the house. That's what the recession came from anyway. It's so many terms, so much stuff to capitalize our people, and they rounded up the interest rate on us. They rounded it up. Even in the investment world, this is a cheap way to raise money. And everybody else around us, the Federal Reserve Bank, all people that work in bank. I hate that. I don't hate that. I'm just saying, I hate nothing to say what I'm saying. But, you know, we got people that work at the bank. And it used to be, I think now when you work there, you got to get your credit and stuff checked right beforehand. You didn't have to have all that going on. I'm glad they did. So the people had their nose up in the air, was bring them down, you know, and stop acting like because I work as a teller. I own the bank. Teller used to make $5,000 to $6,000 an hour. Long telephone. They're too much more. So now they all snooty. But here's the bank. Here's what they got the bank tellers doing. Banks loan money or reinvest the money at higher rates of return for banks' potential profits. If you don't own the bank, don't be bragging me. What's the man on our bank? Union Bank and the Robbins and what's the other man, McClendon? If you're not the McClendon, don't you come with your chest stuck out to me. And then look at a lot averaged. That man making a lot of money because we are raising capital through low interest, low return investments that the bank glorifies through marketing, and all of us go into. Okay, so do this for me. Before we go to this, y'all take about 5-minute break because this is gonna be some work. Okay, we can talk about investments options. Can we do that? Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Y'all get up, stretch, get some water, and so forth.
Email me the stuff.
Yes, I don't know. I was like, she coming, they were going to email.
Yes, sir. Make sure.
Graduation and stuff. I think I think about it. I was at home. Everything.
I always think about stuff when I drive.
Yes.
What I had to do anything.
That's what I think. And I was like, oh, that lady right there. I thought I saw you. I was wanted to get her because I didn't get them out. You weren't the only one. Oh. I know it just looked like clay. See? Wait.
They're too much.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm. We're ready. She talking there. Mm-hmm. Sure it is.
It's the one you post. I'm learning.
She got learned that.
I am trying to find. I have a little quiz I'd like to get us back started.
I read that little book at one time. You know that little book we had.
Yeah, I got mine. Matter of fact, no, I think I got yours.
You know what? I found one thing, and I even found a copy of this. And I was wondering, you sure do have my other.
I think you got
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, I thought this, yeah. Another good thing we had.
Couple of those. Yeah.
Well, I think that's 475, but he's another one. You know, remember when you were doing a workshop or something, and you want to borrow mine?
Yeah. And I lost mine. But that's where I got the information for my slide.
Did I let you borrow my, Morning Glory book?
Now listen, I don't have any else.
From the one with us,
I know what you're saying. You know what?
I think you do, yeah. Yeah, you do. Look for that this week. Next week, you come to collect.
You know, because with our TSC plan, they don't let us choose the kids. They just go with funds, like LC fund, F fund, you know, so it's like, one is secure fund where you don't do anything, make anything, it's bonds.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the I fund is the international, the highest risk and the highest whatever. So.
Do you have to get
TSRP? I don't, but the thing about it is they're matched.
Yeah.
I mean, that's free money, you know. That's my only thing.
Yeah. I wanted to play this game that I've been playing with the kids at Money Club. Okay, y'all give me about 2 more minutes. I will share something with you guys. Y'all, we're gonna do a song like the business symposium with other businesses. We're gonna talk about a good business.
When is that?
When we'll be on Saturday, but I'm not sure which one we're gonna do it.
You let us know, right?
Yeah, probably more close to September. I think it's going to be in September.
And you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I don't. Somebody was, yes, I said that.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, they don't let me know anything.
Yeah, I overheard. That's how I know.
Some of them.
But there is something in September, maybe in August.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Wow, I found it. Yes, thank you, Lord.
The quiz?
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Not if you do it with the kids.
No, right. I do it with the kids. I'm giving y'all kid training. They believe it or not. The kids are like, I'm in phase. Y'all doing good about doing good. Okay, now I got to
It's right there.
Where?
Oh, it was there. Now you need to move it. It's probably one away somewhere.
Okay. Like,
it wasn't that corner. And then now it needs to come back, you know.
Okay. I hate this.
Yes, I know that the moving thing, yes, it's, I
It's
don't
like
like
it went down.
Yeah.
Come back, girl. It went down. Come.
So you can't see my desktop.
No, you have to bring it back. It's out there somewhere.
And you know, the thing about it is, I'm not getting this up there at home.
No, that's what I'm saying. Whatever you have on your computer right now, it's on the other screen on the side. So you have to bring it back on this. So if you take them out and try to move it around. What do you do? Okay.
Now I can't see nothing.
No, yeah.
That's what I was, extended screen, right?
I see.
I think I can duplicate. Okay, so I can see. Okay, there we go. All right, I think I can move this over. Once I put this up. Here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, y'all. We're gonna take a quiz. Woo-hoo. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Somebody said, "Oh Lord." You can't cheat on this, I promise. It's gonna be all right. All right. I did this with the children, and I've been waiting to have training where I can do this with you all. And it just simply says the truth about millionaires. Okay. Millionaires are really like. So we're gonna take this short quiz to see what millionaires are really like. So here's what we're gonna do. We gotta get a majority. A majority vote, and then I'll answer on the screen. Okay. All right. Most millionaires inherit their money. True or false? Who believes in true? Raise your hand. False? Raise your hand. Okay. Only 19% of millionaires, and y'all, I don't know why I don't have any sound. This makes all kind of noises. Oh my God. False. Only 19% of millionaires were given any money or will from their family. Okay. Question. Millionaires don't actually work. They have people who work for them. True or false? Raise your hand for true. Okay, we got one. Raise your hand for 5. False. Okay. False. Most work more than 45 hours a week. Okay, so see how we can miss. Well, I know. Okay, I'm not going to stop. Millionaires shop in very exclusive stores, not where ordinary people shop. True? Raise your hand. Okay, let's see. False. 43% of millionaires have a Sears card. Okay. Millionaires drive impressive cars. True, raise your hand. False, raise your hand. Y'all think y'all might smart. False. Only 23% of millionaires drive a new car. Okay, y'all know what I drive, right? I did joking. All right. Most millionaires make their money in glamorous ways. They are basketball players, musicians, or celebrities. True, raise your hand. False, raise your hand. Oh, wow. That's right. Most millionaires work in very ordinary jobs. They're paving contractors or have a pest control business. You know what? When I did this with the children, they didn't realize that those star basketball players are the two workers. True and false. Millionaires have lots of credit cards. True, raise your hand. False, raise your hand. I'm too smart. All right, many keep just one credit card and most pay it off in full each month. Okay, do not believe in debt. So this is what our mindset. Y'all start thinking like a millionaire. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I don't blame you. Okay, so the next question. Most millionaires own their own business. True or false? True. Raise your hand. Okay, that's everybody in the room. We're going to go true. True. Consider themselves to be entrepreneurs. This may explain why they work more hours
than you would think. So they are decision makers for their own companies. So y'all already know their businesses ain't working. All right. Many poor people become millionaires by winning the lottery. True or false? True and false. Okay, become poor. False. That's right. Look at that Powerball chance. 1 in 17 billion. You have a better chance of being struck by lightning. I'm telling you, by the time people go gambling, you could have invested that money. All right, got 2 more. Most millionaires are college graduates. Is that true or false? True, raise your hand. False, raise your hand. True. 4 out of 5 millionaires are college graduates. 24% have earned master's and doctoral degrees, and another 4% have earned medical or law degrees. They are well educated.
Well, I can see that because it allows them to have, to know how to speak and get to have access to certain people that we may not have access to, which ultimately results in them building their businesses. So I kind of disagree with it and by YouTube and stuff I see, but I do know that intellectually, okay, I ain't gonna say that because y'all think I was harsh, but it's hard to get unintelligent people to receive. That's just like that. Yeah. So even when we're marketing our businesses, we want to. We have targets. We have targets so they can receive what we have. Yeah.
I work hard. I save.
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's
and it's hard to get that through.
And some will, depending on what you go. Yeah, if you want to be wealthy, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
But you just want.
Yeah. So, well, there is a good possibility that you can be a millionaire. True or false? True. All hands true. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay. It is not that hard if you stick to a saving plan. Would their strategy is not all out. Okay. If you stick to a saving plan, let's say you invest $3,000 a year, 8%. And this is good to know. You do this every year from the age 21 to 64. In return, you have $1 million. Okay, $3,000 a year, % rate of return from the age of 21 to 64, and you can retire with $1 million. Amazing, huh? But it's the truth. And so that means that if we're behind, I'm gonna put 10,000. I'm about to do diversified funds. Hey, I ain't giving up though. I can tell you that. That's what we're gonna talk about, diversifying our funds and stuff. Okay. So I really wish I had time to make this. I have 2 more videos, and I really wish I had time to make this thing talk, but I don't. So I may have to give you the play it for me. Okay.
this time,
Yes.
it was interesting what you said what the slide said about athletes, because Marvin was just telling me last night that one of his best friend knows a lot of professional baseball players, and his friend was actually talking to them about money coming. And he was telling them because each time they get trained or they go to a different team, a lot of different things before. And talking to them, they don't have a clue because the people that they're sitting with aren't good advisors. So he was saying, I'm really trying to work for the tax to try to get the professional baseball to sign with you because they don't even know. And like you said, Mark, they have all this money with it. And they sit to burn. So this is why when it comes out at the end of the year, I'm on all this money and stuff. He's like, yeah. So you need to call Marvin and Mary. So oh my God.
Call Marvin and Mary. Eminem.
Okay, God, do it, but it's we did for you to have that slide that just because they have this money and stuff, not a cool. And then we wonder why the people on the outside go, well, how did that happen to them? get into all these financial woes. Because they just got money, but they don't have to do it.
They had briefly, they had the commentary on 60 Minutes 1 year, where they were showing some present athletes and some who has retired, and that they were saying that, talking about the hardship, how they had to learn the hard way and what they need to do. And Shaq was saying that is the reason he went back to school. He majored in finance or accounting or something having to do with money, so that he could better educate himself and he could pass it on to others. But one of the older gentlemen was saying that, in 2 words, you are responsible for managing your money, filling out the proper paperwork. But he was saying they were just overwhelmed. He said he didn't even have sense enough to know that, well, his contract said that football season lasts to this period of time. You get enough here, but you off during off season, and you come back this time. He was talking about doing a period of 2 or 3 months how he was on the street. But the end result, at the end of the thing, all of them saying what we're seeing today. Nobody educated them, nobody told them, but then they said, hey, it wasn't their responsibility. They hired them to do a job. They didn't hire, they didn't take a job of babysitting them, telling them to manage their money. So they was now going around and training and teaching other young athletes, because some now, come straight from high school. And they don't understand. So I'm hoping more and more as the things come available that people will take advantage of it and begin to learn. Whether we go into McDonald's or whether we go into the NBA. You're going to have to do some things you need to know about your money. Have to probably feel like you did before, what is going to entail at the end of the year.
That's why we can help those that are 18, those that are 80. We can help those that have a career, those who don't have a career, just have a job, they're working. She just made a comparison from McDonald's to NBA. It's all the same. Money, principles, concept, they're all the same. Some people think, I remember a person, talking to a person that even bought a house. I'm just talking about mentality. People that bought a house because they want to buy a large house, they went to a different loan officer. They didn't come and give me to finance the house. The paperwork, the process is still the same. We get it there. It wasn't anything different because they had 3 more zeros or something like that to it. The process is the same. That's what we're saying with finances. The process is the same, and that's what we're saying about money and its concept, is that it works for everybody. Everybody. Lawyers, doctors, Indian chiefs, everybody. Right. It will work for, because the principle. It is a principle, and it's a strategy that makes things happen. I want to read to you just a little bit, going into our next section, what has been written by our big boss. I like to call him, but he, like us, call him a boss. But most people believe the number of investment products offered in the United States are endless and very complicated and confusing and overpowering. To some degree, it is true. But again, what I'm trying to do is come from the desperate housewife perspective, where you don't have to know everything to put yourself in the right line of financial freedom. I think I told y'all before how the lady came to me for the mortgage, to mortgage your home, or I talked about it in Conway or somewhere. But anyway, that lady was in a situation where she retired as a teacher. Of course, she'd been married 40-some years or 40 years, she told me. She stayed married because of the kids, but he never got any better. When she retired, not knowing anything, she just knew she was done. She got a divorce at that old age. So she's buying her house for the first time. And she said to me, I don't even know if I can afford it. I don't know if my credit is in place. I was so surprised. She's one of my outstanding teachers here, and she's not African American. And she came to me. And she says, I don't know if I have anything in place. But y'all, the woman, every representative that comes to the school, she had poured money into. She had no clue. And she was making more money a month at retirement than she had been when she worked She didn't even have a clue. I'm like, you get enough. So when we ran the numbers and got her pre-approval, she had enough to get $200,000-$300,000 home. And she's sitting there crying, nervous crying. She wasn't excited crying. She's nervous. And I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, oh my God. And all of this, oh my God, it was oh my God. You know, she didn't know, but she had things in place.
She done better return.
She did better. Yes, she did. And get the divorce. I'm sorry. Because she started telling me her story. She's sitting there, you know, she never had any money. She never had that. I'm like, really? He wouldn't give her nothing to them? Baby, what's going on? But she said, I just knew I needed something for me. Now, here's the deal on someone never having any money because she decided to pour it into those annuities. She had a portfolio, a major portfolio. And she was scared and closed it. We got to close it. And it closed and she needed like $3,500 or something. She was like, oh, I don't know. I almost called her name. I said, you got it. You got plenty. You can close on my house. You know, and 2 or 3 of the neighbor's house. You know, so I'm holding my hand. But that's a good place to be in. So I'm talking about instead of making this some type of group issue here, don't make it. Because she didn't, she just knew she needed to do something. So she did what she had to do. Another story I started thinking about, I walked into, now this is on the other side. I walked into a local investment company. Money, right? I wanted to do investing. And oh my goodness, it came to me last night. How I walked in there and how that guy looked at me. And I said, I want to invest. Well, what you want to invest in? What, you know, and he goes into this and so I'm not knowing how to answer. Well, how much money? I think I might have told him $100 a month or something. And I'm just talking like this. He offered me nothing. He just looked at me as if I'm a product that won't make him any money. And so to this day, that company has not called me. I said, I know right now I'm working Potlatch, but I'm going to retire and I need some type of plan. I need some help. He didn't offer me no assistance. Because I didn't walk in there with thousands of dollars or $10,000. You see what I'm saying? So in my mind, I actually left crushed because I'm thinking, if I don't have no more than this $2,000 or $3,000, ain't nobody help me. But in actuality, when you look at it, a person, and a lot of times people say they can't save and they can't invest because they work at McDonald's or they're only getting $3,000. Let me tell you something. If you took, say for instance, taxes, all right, and you were a low income, earned income credit. So you're gonna get from $7,000 to $10,000 a year, but you don't make it for $7,000 a year. If you took that $10,000 a year, baby, if you took the money that you get when you got it and invested it, you got to do people that have $100,000 and $200,000. So it doesn't even matter what perspective, where you are, we're still trying to hustle to make more money to get to the point of investing, and we don't have to. We got it coming in. We got it flowing. And no matter what our income base is, we can make it happen. That's why we're going to learn. Here, I want to give you this example. He gave, I thought it was real good. We're going to look at restaurants and businesses. And simplify. It says, in the restaurant industry and many other industries, companies have tried to simplify their products for the public. Fast food companies have you order on the basis of the number and in combination, right? I know the number 2 is, because damn, he's a number 2 cheeseburgers, no, nothing but ketchup on it, a large Coke, and a large fry upsize it. That's real simple. That's real simple. That's number 2. I know number 1 is. And McDonald's number 1 is on Big Mac. Extra sauce, upsize it. Give me a large tea, extra ice. That's so simple, ain't it? When we get to the point of investing and understanding just the basis of it, that's just how simple we can get. Okay, we're gonna look at some formulas that help us on that. Fast food companies have you order on the basis of number regulations, hotels classify their types of hotels by service level and price range. Right, so we know what we're gonna get for a suite is gonna run around $100 or so, and you might get the amenities that come with it. and so you know which hotel to choose by the chains, right? Express, Holiday Express, Holiday Inn, Holiday Inn Select. You know which one is 4-star, 2-star, and another star. Hotel, motel, Holiday Inns. You know all of them. If your friend acting up, if your girl acting up, then you take it. Okay, anyway. So you know which one to go to. The financial service industry actually benefits from confusing us. Okay, this is why you have, I'm telling you, y'all, from insurance to just banking to investing to mortgaging, even to credit. Their job, capitalistic job, is to confuse us. We're going to try and simplify this for you today as best as possible. So the first thing we're going to take a look at, and we will give them a quiz on this, okay? These are industry products, okay? And they're broken down into how many categories, y'all? 4. Only 4. Only 4 categories. How about that? So that can just bring your little mindset down. First category is what? Cash equivalents. You can look at, I gave you these sheets, okay? Anybody can define cash equivalents, what you think it is?
Those are guaranteed by an institution.
FDIC.
Yeah, those folks.
Okay.
Yeah, if you put it in the bank, they can tell you up to a certain amount that if you put it in there, you can get it back. No risk.
Okay.
Guaranteed that.
Okay. Investment securities are short term. They have high credit quality and are highly liquid. You can turn them in, you can cash them in, you can get cash. But on the other hand, you need to know that they are low risk and low return and low interest rates. All right? Low risk, low return, and low interest rates. Now take a look at that list up under there. According to low risk, low return, and low interest rates. When we talk about low risk and high risk, what are we talking about here? So I'm gonna show a little.
Losing money.
Well, okay. Well, that's return. What about low risk? Yeah, when we take risk, you got a high chance of, there are certain investments that you have a higher chance of losing money, depending on, okay. This one is a low. Some people choose it because they don't want to lose money. They don't want to take that risk. Some people choose it, they just don't know any better. But you do need to know and choose options and build your portfolio that is low risk, low return, and low interest rates. The categories up under this, let's name them. They are what? Number 1 is what? Okay, number 2, say that loud and clear. Say it again, number 2. CDs. Okay, because they're popular and they're marketable, and people get into CDs because they expect to be making a lot of money off of them. I just want to say that. Okay, the third one is what? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we know that in this category, we got low risk going on over here. So let's go to the second one. What is it? What is the second category? It's called what? Bonds, and they are backed by who? By the government. Okay. Bonds. Anybody want to find them? I pretty much did, but in a way. Who understands a little bit about bonds?
You have to really leave your money in there over an extended period of time. It's not like with like savings accounts where you may get that little interest monthly or whatever. It's kind of like a yearly thing based on years, but it's really not. You have to leave it in there a long time.
In order for it to mature, you have to leave it in there for a certain period of time. If you take from it, then it will not mature to the amount that, the potential that you have to get from that.
Okay. So it's fixed income securities. It's fixed. You know the exact amount of cash that you're gonna put in, and you know the secured maturity date. Okay. Fixed income securities, you know the exact amount you're gonna put in and what you're gonna get out on its date of maturity, right? Bonds are debts, because what we do is when we put our money into bond funds, we are actually becoming lenders to corporations, governments. We're becoming their lenders because they're borrowing in order to run their cities, different, you know, they're borrowing to run their state. This is why it is what some of the financial gurus are suggest putting money there, because it becomes secure, because the government is set up on debt, right?
Right.
So it's bound to mature because the city is trying to run, or the state is trying to run off of money that they don't have. Okay, it costs them more to build parks and drive the roads and fire stations and so forth. So in order to do that, this was created for them to get money. Okay, to borrow money, and we become the lenders in actuality. So when we put our money into something, we're lending them the money, and it's more apt that you're going to get a return. Okay. The advantage is high claims on assets, and this should high claim on assets. Okay. And then you need to know that this is not a share. You do not share profits. You only earn principal interest from the principal. Okay. And it's a high risk category, but simply you can make more money on the interest rate as opposed to our cash equivalents. It is high risk, high return, high interest. Okay. Stocks. I'm sorry. Number 3. What did I do? Okay. Number 3, guys. The third category is what? Okay. Investment industries. So this is where somebody's got a big idea that planes are gonna fly, cars gonna run, you know, travel, people gonna travel, and stocks are equity. Stocks are equity. You purchase equity or stock as an investor, and you become an owner of a corporation through shares. Stocks are equity. We become owners in the companies. What kind of risk y'all think that is? High or low? Absolutely. And why is that? Why would that be? Yeah.
Based upon the demand. The stock is up or down.
Right. So, you know, I was reading, and I'm gonna share a slide from the U.S. Securities Company. But in reading that, what we have to keep in mind is every bit of investment is a risk, one way or the other. We said low risk, high risk, but it all has a tendency to be a risk because it's hard to define investments according to the investment world. I'm sure there's companies, because they're licensed to do whatever they do, and they would tell us this is better. But again, we're trying to free your mind on what your portfolio looks like. We're putting the information out, but everything's a risk. Everything, and there's some type of risk. So we got I didn't go over, I'm sorry, bonds. Categories for that would be corporate bonds, municipal bonds, mortgage-backed securities, U.S. government-backed securities, and all of this notes, inflation, zero coupon, and agency. Now let's look at stock. We talk about pre-IPO. Number 2, IPO, secondary markets like common, preferred, blue chip, growth, income, value, cyclical, defensive, and then market cap, large, mid, and small. I do know what each of them mean, but I'm not going to bore y'all with each of them. Go look it up. I want you to be resourceful enough. You go to Investopedia.com. Go to Investopedia. And I say "sto" because it's got O. Investopedia.com. And do your homework to see what they got videos and stuff out there that'll tell you what they are. Okay, IPOs about going public. There are some companies they know right now that they got a good idea. This may work. Okay, when you're in the stock world, this may work. Okay, so we're going to get a certain amount of people to invest into what we think will work and bring us huge dividends in the end, meaning it's not public yet. Like you can't just go on T. Rowe Price or anywhere else and buy into this stock. But I can come to you personally. I can get some people here, some people there, and they will invest into this. And then eventually when I get it where, okay, Empire, y'all watch Empire? Okay, go, you can learn something, So, this dude, I saw the episode of this season, he said, man, I ever went public, because he got enough going on to enough investors, and now he went out and said, let's go public, we're ready to go public. But everybody can buy in, but now everybody got some control. We got some control. When you're in the stocks, you can vote. I get the letters in the mail and don't vote. I don't know the people from out, but I said what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start voting. I'm gonna just pick a person. It's just like at the pound. Send it to me. That's special capital. Send it to me. So send it to me, and we're gonna start voting. So that's what's in that area is stocks. Do y'all think it's high risk? We already talked about high risk. Okay, and that brings pretty much high returns. Let's look at real assets. Okay, that's the fourth and final part, or is it private business? That's the fourth category. Okay, it's defined as physical or tangible assets that have value. Physical or tangible assets that have value. Are people doing good on live stream? Okay, great. And they have value due to the substances and the properties. We talked about natural resources. I'll never forget learning a lesson. My 21-year-old was in junior high. We were doing a history online. And part of the history was talking about back in the day with the Indians and Americans and so forth, and how and why Americans wanted the Indians gone to begin with was because of the natural resources. They saw the value, and the greatest value that we can have is the natural resources that reproduce itself. I can do anything, let it rain. Make it rain. Okay, so that's good right there. Let it rain. And so this is why people want to capture land and assets. Now, I've heard, and I've read it, and I've been studying in my securities and so forth. People have said, and I heard somebody that was a very intelligent friend of mine agree with the spokesperson who said that real assets are real estate, because real estate is the only way you deal with. Okay, that is not true. But it is recommended that it be somewhat a part of real assets, be a part of your portfolio. Doesn't hurt to be a part of your portfolio, but it's not the only way that you create wealth. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes along with that. You got your categories. Now I'll go back and talk about real estate a little bit more. Real estate. Number 2, private businesses. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have it back here. We're going to look at that, how your business is an asset. I've got a book that talks about investment dummies. the number one asset that is recommended is business. And although my e-commerce across the world are joining my econ to learn financial, to gain financial knowledge, okay, the bottom line of their knowledge ought to be that they work their business. Because it's your number one asset, and we didn't make it up as my e-commerce. It is the number one asset. We're going to look at how your business is an asset. So it will behoove you to work it, increase it. We're going to show you the numbers. So real estate, let's go back to that. Real estate, of course, nothing bad like that. But you do have to understand that real estate is not yours. Buying houses, and that particularly, are not yours until you pay off the loan. Okay, so it's a liability. A lot of people can't afford to do real estate right now. And all in their mind is, I had a guy come to me some years ago. Okay, so I was working my econ, and then he comes to me to give us direction. So he tells me, see, what I want to do is, see what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy me up some trailers, and I'm going to buy me up some houses, and then I'm going to flip them. And so I'm sitting there going, okay, this trailer park, I got the name for it. So I go back to the basics. So I'm saying, okay, what your credit look like? What you got? Oh, I'm finna file bankruptcy. All right. Where is the money? I mean, that's just what I looked at him. I've learned to do better now. So I'm like, do you have a savings account? I mean, because like, okay, so you mean you got enough money, you're going bankrupt, you got enough money saved, you can buy the first 5 trailers with cash? Yes, because other than that, you got to go get a loan. So, dude didn't have that. So I think you need to rethink your idea. Plus, I don't do that anyway. But I got something that'll get your basic in order to help your dream. You need something. Needless to say, he didn't enroll because guess what? He's got that fool's mentality. He think he's going to get past it. Ask me 10 years down the road, does he have a trailer park? Ask me. Does he? Ask me, y'all. Y'all know, no. He's down in the country, preaching. So, I'm just saying. I'm just plugging in for the spiritual world. Anyway, that's fool's faith. He still ain't made it. We gotta do something. Okay. So, collectibles, art, future commodities, currency, cattle. You guys, I bring it. You just have to have some wake-up calls. All right. I ain't apologizing. I'm just saying. So these are the things that come under real assets. And hey, I never dreamed we have cattle, but hey, we got some cows going on somewhere.
And Scott mentioned here that gold and silver are also real assets.
Yes, absolutely. Part of the, when we talk about future commodities, currency, cattle, gold, oil, minerals, those kind of things. Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look. Okay. So we talked about low risk and high risk. Just wanted to give you guys a vision of this pyramid right here. The high risk categories. You should have some idea right now from this chart on up. Then we talk about they've been a category of what? Stocks and what? Stocks and bonds. I'm just giving you a vision here. So you can look at the top of the pyramid of what you're looking at. When you start making your portfolio, you understand this when you either call or you go online shopping. Okay? So when we talk about how, well, I'm getting ahead. We'll talk about that. Some things to look for. Now, right here in the middle, they can go either way. You got blue chip, real estate, growth, mutual funds. I mean, like, real estate is a risk. A house is a risk because it could burn up. Something could catch on fire. Cows are risk, right? High risk because, you know, they could die of a mad cow disease. I don't know. I'm just saying. I could not beat them. So, I mean, a lot of people lose farmland because of the rain, natural disasters. So, I'm just telling you, it doesn't take a genius to kind of think of these, right? Okay, so balanced mutual funds, high grade preferred stock, high grade convertible funds. You're going right on down here on your low risk companies, money market accounts, or mutual funds, high grade corporate funds, and then on the bottom of the totem pole, insurance, savings accounts, checking accounts, U.S. savings bonds, certificates of deposits, and treasury issues. Okay, so the thing of it is, you're going to be taking a look at your age. If you have not made a move, the way you're choosing from here, high risk and low risk earnings are going to be according to where you are in life. And if you have a portfolio already started, for instance, I'm thinking about teachers. Okay, I'm thinking about teacher retirement, and it's been one of the toughest things to get my husband to see that, because you feel real good and secure with education. A lot of people talk T drop and all that kind of stuff, but sorry on the face. I wish I was seeing that she turned real quick. She was smiling and she like, that's where I am. Unfortunately, Jerome ain't quite like me, but I'm going, okay. So he did go get some cow to add to that, but it's not enough always, and that's a low interest. When I look at some stuff, that's a low interest going on. So it's not always cracked up to be, although it's a good option. All right, I ain't saying don't do it. I'm saying be smart. So let's take a look at alternative measures of investing. Okay, there are 4 basic categories there. You got them. Investment options. Now we're looking at things. We're looking at things that are grouped in the financial market or the investment world by. Remember when the people on the video said they gave them this list, they have a fancy name, things that weren't quite as equitable. Maybe that's the term I would use for it. So let's take a look at it. Life insurance products. We got life insurance, term, whole, universal, variable, universal life. I wouldn't tell you or ever dare say what's the best, because I don't know what's the best for you. One of the things that about whole life, though, insurance is that, you better be in it a whole long time for it to grow. Some people like Miss Levitt, when we started talking about it, like, hey, don't mix my, she had one for a long time. But if I were getting in and I'm 50 years old, I'm probably want some term life, because I didn't have anything. So I pay $60 to $70 a month for a better type of product. But then I know my grandmother had whole, but good gracious, she started, she was 2. So I'm just saying, and some people, when you do Gerber products, Gerber life for your children, when you start them off young, that's going to be more valuable. But on the flip side, term is going to give you what you need for it right now. Okay, 5, 10 years and so forth, and you have to keep up. You have to renew it. Okay, and the older you get, I think it can grow as far as how much you pay a month on it, or if you ever drop it. All those factors are in there. A lot of insurance agents will sell this product to you. I'm telling you, it's lower on the totem pole though, but they will sell this to you. This is a great option for you to build wealth for your family. Well, as a practice, we're not practicing this type of product to build wealth for our families. Okay, we're practicing as protection. This section is protection. If you don't have anything, okay, then of course, if we die, we want to have $10,000 or $12,000. But even when you're choosing insurance, people, just to say I'm choosing $300,000 worth of insurance, to just say I got $300,000 of insurance, there's even a measuring tool for that. You want to measure it by your debt. That's one of the things. Your debt and your age. You want to know, do I have $300 worth of debt? If I die, could my family be taken care of? I ain't got that kind of debt. I'm not going to leave you around $300,000 and then nobody else. No, I'm just kidding. He ain't taking care of it. I don't know. But I'm just saying, you do have measurement tools as to being, we talk about manipulating into thinking. Because there's a whole bunch of scenarios. There's a whole bunch of whys we can give people. And we can talk anybody into why it's necessary. Okay? I want to talk you into why you need to be able to think for yourself. That's it. I ain't even talking about why it's not necessary. I'm talking about why you need to be able to think. Okay. Then we got mutual funds, growth, aggressive, an income balance bond sector. I got these out of order on here. How did I get these out of order? More life insurance, that's should be number 2. More life insurance company products, annuities, fixed annuities, variable annuities. People on the job have had these. That annuity we had, Jerome, shut that down. We're not growing. I mean, even after not being able to take it out now, at first it was with the policy where you could even withdraw out of it. Now I think you got it on your job, you cannot tap it unless you quit that job, okay, or retire. So you can't take it out. But it's like 3% interest rate. You put money in here, and to me that wasn't good enough. So let's shut this down. I couldn't get it a little bit, and it's amazing to see the paperwork when it comes to you. Like it's $250 last year, and I get it today. You know, the next year it's $256. You know, ain't growing. For me, that's not my option. So you have to be careful even on annuities and so forth. But again, like I told you, that lady had quite a few annuities over a length of time that she had done a great job, but she had a diversified portfolio. Okay, that's what happened with her. Mutual funds, growth, aggressive growth, an income balance bond sector, and index mutual funds. Well, it's kind of like crossing, so to speak, but I'm going to say mutual funds are appropriate and inclusive when you're building a quick portfolio. Okay, let's go into something else. Let's go to real estate. We talked about that. It's one of the low options, limited partnerships, real estate investment trust. People do that to protect their monies and so forth. Kids, you put your money into trust funds on the kids' age. There's so much to go with this, okay? Then tax advantage investments are other options. Make sure you note, that's what they're talking about on the video. I imagine if they knew that these were tax shelters, basically, these people would have done something different with their money, something else with their money. But when it comes to RA, Roth, RA, 401k, 403b, they have tax advantages. And that's where we go and invest on our jobs and so forth there, because we want to save money. Okay, it's like having prepaid, pre-tax insurance. You know, you don't get taxed on it because the money has come out first, right? Okay, good. So then you don't get any taxes on it. That's why you'll see your wages, salaries and tips in line 1, and if you go on line 3, you'll see a number that's bigger, because that's the one going to Social Security. That's what you're getting Social Security amount from, because you have pre-tax items in there. Same thing with RAs, 401ks, is pre-tax money. And it can cover you. You can pay less taxes by doing it. Also, the advantage is they will have some matching. They will have some matching to it. My company, again, was outstanding. They matched us 100%. But I have found, I think it was somebody that was working in McGee that had a 401k, and they weren't matching with 2%. So to me, automatically, I'm going, let's get something else too. At your age, you need to be looking at other investment options.
Mine only matches 100% at the first 3%, and then 2% they match at 50%, and then after that they don't match at all.
See, we had the union backing us. We switched to Clearwater. It's Clearwater now, but we had the union backing us, and everything was great. Now it's not now. That's why there's.
Well, we have Federal Union and stuff, but that's.
Them boys out there, they didn't play. They didn't play. So we had good. Look, my health insurance covered everything. I was not used to paying not one dime for health insurance. When we got off to get the coverage that we had, we would have been paying $1,500 a month. I had to pay that until my husband went through his cancer. Okay, we had everything. Putnam, investments, 401k plan, they're matching at whatever percent. There was no stipulation or nothing. It was good. Folks that retired out of potlatch the years that I was there in 27, 8, 9, and up to 10, they retired with some good money. They really did, except for the ones that did not know any better. They still had debt, and there was one guy that died of cancer. I just really hated he had to keep working. But they didn't know. And so when the guys Ms. Lambert mentioned earlier, I didn't know much and started learning with my econ. And I moved some money around. I made $500. Hey, I can't tell you what my mom was saying, but in high cotton, I was doing things in high cotton. So that's exciting to understand. So these are the categories. These are the options. Let's take a look at some tools that are valuable to us. We're going to do a little work on here, okay? Let's take a look at the rule of 72, because we're going to talk about compound interest and simple interest when it comes to investing and understanding what that means, okay? This is one of the formulas. I'm glad it's so simple. I remember when I first looked at it, oh my gosh, I thought this was going to be something hard. And I recently did a workshop with some ladies, and it was funny because they thought it was going to be hard too. But look here, Rule 72. 72 divided by the interest rate equals the years needed to double investments. Okay? Years needed to double investments. So somebody has offered me, or I'm online, and I am trying to figure out if I need to choose this option. So they tell me that I will get, or maybe somebody coming to you with stocks and you buy into a company, and they're telling you that if you buy into this company, we're going to give you this percent, and these many years your money will double. Okay, let's do this very simple formula that mathematicians came up with to help us understand compound interest and how it works. So let's say we got 6% interest rate. Let's work out the formula. Y'all tell me how many years would it take to double my investment? At 6% interest rate, how many years would it take? 12 years. So that's real simple. Ain't that simple? Very simple. Now, what if I had a 20% interest rate? How many years would it take me? 6. So what's the difference here? In your mind, what would you say? I got 6%, I got 12%. What is a statement, I guess, of reasoning or logic that you would put to buy? And you got two options. You got 1 and 6%, you got 1 and 12%. And you just, in your mind, you did 72 divided by the interest rate. In your mind, what is a reasoning logical statement for that? Choosing. Double quarter and what interest rate? At 12%. See how simple it is? See, y'all, Scott, that's very simple. Well, yeah.
For some people,
Yeah, but
I'm 60.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 60.
I mean, age is a part. Yeah, it's very much a part of it. Any age.
Plus the risk factor too is what you want to risk.
Right. So if I'm saying I'm just saying for me, if I started investing later, I don't think I could go to a cash equivalent fund to retire comfortably. Because the whole point is, remember our formula for retiring. You need to have 12 times the amount of your desired annual income. Now they use the word desire. I'm gonna say this. If I'm making $68,000 a year now, and I know what I'm bringing home, in order for me to continue to bring that type of money home, I need 12 times that $68,000 in some type of income producing asset. So you do the math. You know what you got going on now. That's what that cash flow strategist is about. It's about you being real with yourself. You know what you have going on. You got to go and explore what you have presently and know that if you want to retire at 67, 68, or 70, whatever year it is, then you got to go to work. And that's part of the advantage of what? First thing we do is we lower our what? Lower our taxes. We minimize our expenses, right? We eliminate debt. We build business income to help us get there. So get on a good foot. Oh, that's a cheerleader. So so the bonus is there. This poor baby sitting here going, I tried to help Miss Mason. It's not working. See yourself face. I really tried. Absolutely. But seriously, this is what the entire system is set up for. It's set up that if you hit a crunch financially, where your $800 is being absorbed 30 to 50% of your income when you get your paycheck, when it's absorbing that amount of money, you got business an opportunity to replace that to help yourself. Am I right about that?
Right, and then another thing, like you said, be realistic, and planning is so important. And another thing that we sometimes do not factor in, don't even consider, is the healthcare issue. So many people experiencing medical situations, being sick, have medical bills and that type of thing. So even if you got other things out of the way, hopefully we do, then have money in place, because
you insurance. That's right. Medicare. I don't even know that stuff is. I'm like, I really, Lord, I'm trying to work on things now. I don't want their help. I really want to be able to pay my doctor bills. Because this stuff is crazy. I wish I had known this as a little girl. I would not buy insurance. I wouldn't plan when I was at an old age. I'm talking about at an old age. I would not plan it. It's confusing. You got to supplement this and supplement that. You got expenses. You're already not getting anything but Social Security. And I ran up on a lady who was getting only a little over $300 a month. Her husband's getting a little over $600 a month. And you realize, a lot of people don't realize, you don't have a job. You're not even putting in money to get Social Security back because you're not making anything. And so she had cancer when I was doing the insurance. She had cancer. And the blessing was she could get it for free. And even with that insurance, you could not get it if you were about to get Medicare. And you got gaps and all that kind of stuff. So she was right. She had about 4 more years. So I'm like, thank you, Lord. We got her in there right there where she could get free insurance and get the help that she needed. I don't even know if she passed. I really need to go check on her. I don't think about it. Because I kept the name highlighted in my book. I hope and pray that the insurance, we got her the insurance in time for her to take her treatments. That stuff is real. And when you see it, we passively go, we're being passive. I even think we're being passive with our business, and we're being passive with the planning and the options that we have, because we haven't taken this thing seriously. Like, we haven't seen the vision. You're going to grow old. Get the vision. You're going to grow old. And if you're sickly now, hopefully you do. Okay, see? And if you're sickly now, you think you got issues now? I never thought. I'm a cheerleader. I was. So I was a cheerleader. So I never thought I had a knee issue. As a cheerleader, I'm over there to jump around. Jump around. There's a crystal. Anyway, that's no song. Jump around. Hey, jump around. So my intention was to keep jumping around in my skirt. And I can't jump around. And that means I have to buy stuff.
And things change.
That's it. I got to buy $45 worth of daily ultimate every month. I need to plan for that for my retirement. don't want to stop taking data. It helps us. So let's look at how we can determine the interest rate, okay, over a period of time. 72 divided by the years needed to double your investment. So we're still talking about age here, right? So I don't have long, and I need to double my money in 10 years. I want to retire. Somebody tell me what the interest rate is going to be. Divide 72 divided by 10. So how many years? I mean, okay, about 10 years. And what's the interest rate I need?
7.2.
So right. So that's not bad if some of us are got quite a bit of money that we had set aside, and we want people make choices to pull out what their present money is to make more money. Of course, remember it's all a risk. And you got to know your tax factors that go into that in order to make those decisions. But I talked to a lady that looked as though she could possibly do that. She possibly had that option. She had some money somewhere at an older age, and in order to continue out and calculate it, she needed some more. So she made the choice of putting something out of what she had and taking that risk. It's a risk, but she made the choice. We added up how many years it would take and where she would have to turn around and report the change and that kind of stuff. So it's not hard to find out. Yeah, also investing seems kind of simple now, doesn't it? Maria ain't saying nothing. Maria like, whatever. But I'm saying, now this is something you need to remember when you do invest. You need to remember capital gains. There were some people, big money, Chris, if he watching, his face, we did his taxes, he gained money. Yeah, capital gains sheet. That means his expenses, which kind of services, have no schedule. He's like, what? We paid? I thought it was cheaper last year. Well, you invested more money, Chris. You made some money. We have to put in a schedule. We had to add another schedule. So remember, check these things out. Because then, to me, I'm just saying, if I'm expecting to get a capital gain sheet, and I'm expecting to pay taxes on it, then what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create what? I'm gonna create deductions. So that makes you wise. But I think it's cool how you would know. To me, that's okay. It ain't cool. Man, I'm like, it's cool. Maria still ain't brave. Like, that ain't cool, man. I'm on board. She ain't relaxed on it yet. I can talk you running into it. She's like, because she's nice. She wouldn't tell me otherwise. But now back there in America, married my cousin. She gonna say this ain't. Go back over it. So let's take a look at this chart. $10,000 invested. 6 years at 12% is $20,000. Okay, and that's the one-time investment. 12 years at 12% is $40,000 and so forth. Now, of course, we see at 6%. Okay, we're making less right here. In 24 years, look at that. At 12%, it's $160,000. But at 3% and 6%. Okay, you see. So that ought to help you make up your mind as to how you want to do things. I'm just saying. Okay. So let's take a look at compound interest. All right. I'm going to do this. Can you go? Are you down? I want you to do a video, because I don't think this is going to work. The next slide is the video. We're almost done. Almost ready for a little lunch break. We're going to take a little 3 minutes on that, and then we're going to come back in. How much is it? Like 30. We shouldn't take that long.
Anything around?
It's right here. Yeah. Right there. Real close.
Which video you want?
We want Investopedia compound interest explained.
Okay.
On lunch break, I'll have time to figure out what this is, what's going on with this. What's going on with the sound on the screen. just. We've done this mistake. So, my children that I teach enjoy videos. I decided to give, and they learn better at videos.
You
So,
showed that to them too?
yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Which one?
And we'll try to click it. You see that one, compound interest explained on Investopedia.
Yes. Uh-huh. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I
Go
just
back.
saw it. It's loading.
Okay. Let's go.
Oh, and then it's advertising.
Sorry.
You watch it.
Compound interest.
Let me get this up here. Why now, Jesus? You guys, I practice this to be better. Stop looking at me. I really, really practice this to be better. Then my Bible. Okay.
You know, Bob going to read
That's my sister-in-law. She loves me. She loves when I get this started here. And it's probably going. Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Interest is the interest an investor earns on his original investment, plus all the interest earned on the interest that is accumulated over time. It is easier to think of compound interest as interest on interest. To understand compound interest, let's first look at simple interest, the interest earned on the original principal only. Suppose you deposit $10,000 into a high-interest savings account at a 5% simple interest rate for 3 years. The interest you earn each year is 5% times 10,000, which equals $500, for a total of $1,500 of interest at the end of year 3. $500 plus 500 plus 500. Now instead, suppose you deposit the same $10,000 at 5% interest compounded annually. In year 1, the interest you earn is the same, $500. But in year 2, the interest you earn is 5% times 10,500, the original amount, plus the interest you earned in year 1. So the second year's interest is $525. In year 3, you earn 5% interest on $11,025. $10,000 plus 500 year 1 interest plus 525 year 2 interest, or an interest payment of $551.25. In total, you earn $1,576.25 in interest over 3 years with compounding interest versus $1,500 with simple interest, a difference of $76.25. The effect of compounding becomes especially powerful over longer time periods as the amount of earned interest becomes larger and larger.
Okay, so, and we're gonna go to simple interest too. If you can find that one, understanding simple interest is the title of that video. But you'll see the length of time is what's one of the most important factors into compound interest. Is because over a length of time, you're constantly making money. But if I made $500 to go my $1,000, I'm going to keep building interest off of that $1,500, right? As opposed to going to simple interest. I'm going to show the video on simple interest, and it may seem elementary or that you could assume, but these are the basic principles of investing that people need to understand, and that again is going to help you set your portfolio. In teaching the children, they got this because I was sharing with them that they're just familiar with going to the savings account, Apple Seed, and so forth. So I want them to see, okay, some of them have high expectations financially. So if they were just going to put their money into a regular savings account and call it their retirement, they could see that they put $1,000 in there, and they're going to get them $2 at the end of the year. So now they got $1,002, and when they go back the next year, they were not giving them interest off of $1,002. They still give them $1,000 interest off of $1,000. So when they saw that in their little minds, I was like, yes, we got it, because they were jumping all over the place going, oh my goodness, really? We telling on mommy and daddy. So I mean, if they got it, again, in making your decisions on your investment portfolio, this is a major factor. Do you want to keep just, making the difference between your short-term and your long-term investments? All right. Simple interest. Let's see if we can do this.
Is that from Investopedia too?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love Investopedia, which there are a lot on there are a lot that are on YouTube, but I love Investopedia.
So where do I find the video you need me to find?
Okay, go to Investopedia.com and do the search Understanding Simple Interest. We appreciate you guys' patience. Let's talk about simple interest as she calls it up. Simple interest is interest on what, you guys? If it was interest on interest, then simple interest is what? Okay, just simply charge, right? Simple interest is determined by multiplying the interest rate by the principal by the number of periods. Okay?
I think I found it.
Found it? Okay, we'll try this together.
Sure.
Okay. Yours nationwide on the side. Got it? Okay.
Simple interest is a quick method of calculating the interest charged on a loan. Simple interest is determined by multiplying the interest rate by the principal by the number of periods. Simple interest equal P times I times N, where P is the loan amount, I is the interest rate, N is the duration of the loan using number of periods. For example, if Mr. Farmer borrows $100,000 for 1 year at a simple interest rate of 5%, he will pay $100,000 times 5% times 1, or $5,000 to borrow the money for 1 year. Loans usually charge fees. Simple interest does not include these fees, so it will often not reflect the total cost of a loan.
Yeah.
Is that the internet?
Yeah.
Interest does not include these fees, so it will often not reflect the total cost of a loan. Simple interest also does not include the compounding effects of interest charge over time. For example, Mr. Farmer may get a second loan bid from another bank for 5.15%. However, this loan may have much lower fees than the loan at 5%. After accounting for fees, Mr. Farmer may find that it is cheaper to borrow money at 5.15% with low fees than at 5% with high fees. This shows that simple interest by itself is not always the best way to compare loans. To get a more accurate estimate of the true cost of a loan, people often look at the annual percentage rate, or APR, which takes into account the effects of fees and compounding. Thus, it better reflects the true cost of a loan than the simple interest rate does.
Okay. So very short, very simple. I won't go into it, but a lot of people don't understand the APR. You see that on your contracts. You get that on credit cards. You get that on any type of loan. When you get through, you get that in there. And people say, well, all of this changed over here and what it looks like. But as you can see from the video, you get a better picture of what it's going to look like over a period of time when you take a look at the APR. What are you going to spend on this house? What are you going to spend on this loan over a period of time? Okay. And what is your interest rate? It's listed on those statements too. So that, again, capitalistic society, why you can't just give us, why you can't just give two picture in one contract or one page? It's designed to make us confused, but just a little knowledge will help us, line that out, okay? All right, you guys, let's take about a 30-minute break. let's do 30 minutes to grab some. You can even grab it and come back here. And then we're gonna go in and close out. We don't have that much more. And we're gonna do some homework. We're gonna put up our websites, and we're gonna do some homework there, okay?
Guys, I'm gonna stop the broadcast. Okay.